Hey there kids, welcome back. David Eon in my favorite place, that is our toy museum. Myself and LPH curating our own little museum here of action figures and toys of all sorts. And today I was going to be working on some G.I. Joes. If you remember, a little while ago I did a video where I had this tote. And what is in this tote? In this tote is a bunch of A Real American Hero, ARAH, G.I. Joes. My own, from childhood, that I still have. A lot of my stuff from childhood is gone, but I still have most of my Joes that I obtained myself. You can see it's nearly full of vintage 80s G.I. Joes. But some of them are sick. Some of these Joes, they're not doing very well, and I've got a couple of them here that I was just going to work on today. And I was going to share the experience with you. These four in particular I found so far, and I'm kind of amazed it's not more than this, given how long they've been stored away. I'm going to put those up on the table there and get to work on them. Slide that out of the way. And this is actually really simple. The primary problem here is that the O-rings have given out on these four figures. And so we're going to replace them today, which is fairly simple. A precision Phillips head screwdriver and a bag of replacement O-rings. That's all you need. And this is 100 O-rings, and I got this off eBay for like $5. It's actually usually pretty cheap, and I got way more than I needed just in case I need more. And so we're going to take a walk through this little operation. We can start off with Lady J here, which I still have her file card. Lady J has broken her spine, but we can rebuild her. We have the technology. See how she's like really loose there. Poor thing. We're going to take her backpack off and get the Phillips head screwdriver out and just basically undo her back. And you see her panel just splits open. And there's the screw. It's that simple. You can open her all up now and take that nasty O-ring out of there. These give out over time. You see that's just had it. And I'm sure a lot of you who are into this era of Joe collecting have probably seen something similar to this in the past. And you know exactly what I'm doing here. But I'm almost ready to display those Joes. And so I wanted to give them a little TLC. Take out a fresh O-ring, hook it through, and just really start putting her back together. And back in the day, when you used to do this with the original G.I. Joes, when you did it with the 60s America's Movable Fighting Man Joes, or you did this sort of work with, you see how I've pulled it through, and now I'm just going to loop it over that large peg. When you did it with 60s and 70s G.I. Joes, they used to call it Frankensteining. You would Frankenstein your Joes. Let me take the gun out of her hand for the moment. So I just want to let her arms kind of hang off of the center of the torso. And hopefully it won't fall while I'm doing this, because you want to get everything balanced and then put the front panel back on. So get everything on there, and then just kind of snap that back into place before they all drop out. And now I can put the screw back in, which I've done a lot of. Frankensteining, that is. 60s and 70s G.I. Joes. You just have to make sure you're getting the right parts with the right Joe. And Lady J is back in action. She's ready to go and join the team, releasing her from medical. Give her her weapon back and put her back in her Ziploc bag until I'm ready to display her. And this is what I've got to display her. I showed this in the other video. This stair-stepping piece here, I found this at a thrift store. It expands, and I've got figure stands. I've got a couple of bags of these, about 100 of them actually, and that way I can display them all proper. Let's go ahead and get the Baroness done now. She always had the prettiest artwork on her file card, the Baroness. One of my wife's favorite characters, actually. So I'm going to take the Baroness apart. I used to do a lot of work on vintage Joes, especially the talking ones. As you know, Hasbro is well known. She doesn't want to come apart too easily. Here we go. Hasbro was well known for talking dolls and things like that, but they were pull string mechanical, and so Joes, over time, they would stop working. Their strings would get stuck. It either wouldn't come out. Put it over the little hook there. Or you would pull the string out and it wouldn't go back. And you'd have to take those old talkers apart and reset the talking mechanism inside, and I know how to do that. So I used to do that a lot. I used to do it for people. Working with these is a lot easier because they're in pieces like this. If you had a couple of broken ones, you could put them back together. And even if you didn't have these O-rings, if you had like little dental elastics, you could do something very similar by looping that dental elastic. But I would prefer to use the O-ring. And there she is. You can release the Baroness from medical and send her back where she belongs. I just got two more here that I found. There might be a couple more, but I've only actually found these 4 that were damaged. So again, I count myself as lucky that more of these were not damaged, considering that they've been stored for years. I mean, I haven't even seen them. I took very good care of these. See, that one got a little rusty somehow. And these can get chewed up, and then you try to unscrew the backs and they won't open. And then you're in trouble. Because how are you going to get in there without breaking it if you can't unscrew it? But I took really good care of these because I didn't really play with them like all that. I think I just kind of posed them. And so they're in really fresh from the package kind of minty shape, the majority of them. See, I use the screwdriver to kind of drag that ring through because it doesn't like to fit through the hips here. It still doesn't want to go. His hips are a little deeper than the other 2 figures. It doesn't want to come up. There it is. Now I can get it looped over his back plate. And I'm not sure how that screw got rusty, maybe through moisture absorption. or something that happened in shipping or in the factory or whatever, because I'm pretty sure I never had any of these wet. You know, I wasn't playing with them in the bathtub or something. And we'll get that chest plate back on. His head doesn't want to hold still. There we go. Now that he's in, we can screw him back together. This is also how a lot of people used to customize figures. They would take them apart and give them different legs or a different head or something to change their pants or change their helmet. There's another Viper on his way to combat. No file card with him, but I have a few of those that do have the file cards. And then the dog handler, codename Mutt, and his dog, Junkyard. I think that's the dog's name, right? Yeah, Junkyard. I don't know what I was doing with this one. He's all wrapped up in his leash. Is that separating? You know what? I think I found one of those ones I was warning you about, where there's something wrong. I guess at some point, because you see this leash is around his neck. I don't know if I looped it over his head or I took his head off when I was a kid here. I don't know how I got this. Okay, I think I can get it off of his head. Okay. I'm wondering if when I was a kid I might have taken this one apart, because, or if there's something else wrong, because it looks like that screw is just shredding. And I can't get it to connect. And I really don't want to make this worse. This is the proper sized screwdriver. See, it's turning. I don't think he's unscrewing though. Uh-oh. I think this one is going to have to stay in the infirmary for now. I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed. I like this figure a lot. But something is clearly wrong with the screw, and I'm going to have to work on that one a little bit more at some point here in the near future. Hopefully by the time I'm able to dig into that bin and get the figures displayed. Sorry folks, I can't do that one. Won't let me do it. Won't let me unscrew it. But I'll figure it out. Maybe if I put some WD-40 down in the hole, it'll loosen it up and I can get in there before it gets chewed up anymore. I'm planning on probably working them in over here. I've got a lot of Mezco 112s here, but I'm going to kind of compress this and open up the shelf space. I'm thinking about dropping the shelf down one spot. Now I've got blank spaces here, but those are kind of reserved because I'm getting more of these. I've got a few more of these on order, so those are kind of reserved spots. But I've got a lot of real estate here because I have displays with the Mezco 112s, but there's a lot of issues with the Mezco 112s. Something I might talk about in a future video. And in the meantime, I'm just going to kind of compress it and maybe display them this way on the wall and keep the shelf spaces open, and I can get my Vintage Joes on there. And then of course I do have the one more wall over here, which I have not yet put a slat wall up. Like you see, these here are the slat walls that I use to display these other figures. That's primarily how we do it here, like in a store. But the wall is not up here yet, so I need to get that done. And then I can get more of my product up, because the room is divided in half. Half of it is LPH and half of it is me. So what can I say? Sorry I couldn't get that junkyard unscrewed. But thanks for joining me anyway. And I will get back to you on this project when I'm ready to start displaying the Joes. So, thanks for watching. Please do give the video a thumbs up if you got anything out of it. Share it if you can, subscribe if you're new. Find us on Instagram, Open by Chance on Instagram. And we will see you again soon.